Back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all invited to go fucking mental on this motherfucking drop. The countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go.
Now we're back from the dead.
Genesis' birth was a result of Genova Project G led by Dr. Hollander and was injected with Genova cells, where he was adopted by a wealthy landlord in Benora. During this, he would meet Angel Healy, where the two would become close friends. During the Wutai War, Genesis envied Sephiroth's fame, and it was around this time where he and Angel would leave from Midgard to join Soldier, where the two would become first class and became Sephiroth's only friends. But one day during a sparring match, Genesis would suffer a shoulder wound. Expecting it to heal, this would trigger his flawed genetic structure and begin to degrade. Hollander, knowing the secrets of Genesis' birth, claimed he could heal him. However, secretly, Hollander desired vengeance on Dr. Hojo and Shinra, where he would use him as a test subject to create clones of him. Around this time, Genesis would go rogue during the closing stages of the Wutai War, where fellow soldier member Zack Fair would confront him, but would summon Bahamut to fight Zack. After defeating it, Zack would question Genesis, who would unfurl a black angel wing, stating he's a monster before flying away. Following this, Genesis would deem Hollander useless due to failing to help his condition, and would seek out Genova cells for a cure, but would be confronted by Zack and Cloud Strife. Genesis would duel Zack, but would be defeated and would throw himself into the depths of the Mako reactor. After 4 years of Cloud and Zack being experimented on by Dr. Hojo, Zack would venture into underground caverns to confront Genesis, who now possessed natural materia. Certain that the god's materia, Genesis would use this to fuse into his avatar form and would be defeated by Zack. That would cure his degradation, but using the last of his strength, Genesis would fight Zack again, but ultimately be defeated. The two resurface, now fulfilling Genesis' childhood dream. Shortly after, Zack and Cloud would leave from Midgard to become mercenaries, where Genesis would be discovered by a Shinra helicopter, but his fate after that remains unknown. Cloud Strife was born August 11th, 1986 in a mountain village in Nibelheim to Claudia Strife. His father died when he was very young. During his early life, Cloud was neighbors with Tifa Lockhart, but was excluded from a friendship group. This resulted in him becoming bitter and developed superiority complex. In December, Cloud called Tifa out to meet him at the water tower to tell her about his departure for the Shinra military. In turn, she encouraged him and promised to save her should she ever find herself in trouble. Despite his efforts, Cloud failed to make it into Soldier, enlisting as a mere infantryman. At the age of 16, Cloud would meet Zack once again when he and Sephiroth were tasked to investigate a damaged Mako reactor on Mount Nebo. However, after Genesis would reveal Sephiroth's past, he would go on a rampage and slaughter almost everyone in the village. Cloud would find Zack defeated and would take his Buster Sword to impale Sephiroth through the back, but would be impaled by the Aura Man using what remaining strength he had. Cloud tossed Sephiroth into the Mako reactor before losing consciousness. As the only two survivors, Cloud and Zack would be experimented on for 4 years by Dr. Hojo. Cloud, along with Zack, would be injected with Genova cells. Because of this, he would suffer Mako poisoning, leaving him in a deep slumber. A year later, Zack would be gunned down by Shinra forces. As Cloud awoke, Zack would pass his buzzword onto him as his living legacy. On December 9th, Cloud would serve as a mercenary for a group known as Avalanche, led by Barrett Wallace. During their pursuit of Sephiroth, Cloud would have hallucinations of him throughout their journey, and it won't be until Aerith was praying at an altar in the Forgotten City that Sephiroth would try to have Cloud strike her down. But when this failed, Sephiroth would impale Aerith, leaving him and his party to retrieve the black materia. However, Sephiroth would appear again. It would manipulate his group to hand it over to him. Cloud would track Sephiroth down into a northern cave in the depths of the planet, where Sephiroth would transform into his safer form. After his defeat, he and Cloud would fight one last time in the livestream. After a prolonged fight, Cloud would send Sephiroth's spirit into the livestream, where he could do no more harm. As a result, Aerith's spirit would destroy Sephiroth's oncoming meteor to save the planet. Well, what's up? Winter here again, where I'll be bringing another Final Fantasy match, and ones I've been interested in a while now, where I'll be pitting an elite member soldier going against an ex-member soldier. As for my resources, I'll only be taking Genesis appearance by the end of Final Fantasy Crisis Core, and for Cloud, I'll only be taking his appearance by the very end of Final Fantasy VII. So none of his showings of Advent Children, Dirge Cerberus, or his remake, or any other elements that I'm unaware of. However, just to satisfy some of you, I'll be taking some of his feeds and showings from the Dissidia games. So that way, let's start by comparing and contrasting these two physically. By the time of his final battle with Zack Fair, Genesis will be a 25-year-old hybrid staying around 6'2". As a elite member soldier, Genesis would be in great shape, and due to being injected with Genova cells, Genesis would be given enhanced speed, strength, durability, and stamina. Physically, Genesis enhancements would be heightened to go toe-to-toe with his superior Sephiroth in just one of their many sparring matches. Strength-wise, Genesis is able to break free from Angel's grip and blade lock with Sephiroth. However, with a slight grain of salt, Sephiroth wasn't going all out during their fight, only went to test Angel and Genesis. But one major weakness Genesis has is his genetic degradation. On one hand, Genesis would be above first-class soldier Zack Fair, but on the other hand, Genesis would clearly be below Sephiroth and Advent Children Cloud Strife. And this is made evident during their last fight, when it was shown as the more damage he took over time, the more his combative performance began to decrease. By the end of Final Fantasy VII, Cloud would be a 21-year-old man standing around 5'7". Just like with Zack Fair, after his defeat of Sephiroth and being experimented on for 4 years by Dr. Hojo, Cloud was injected with Genova cells that gave enhanced strength, speed, stamina, and durability. Despite not going through any soldier training, his durability will be heightened to take large falls from a Mako reactor down to the Midgar slums. His agility is high enough to jump large distances. Despite Cloud being the powerhouse of his group, he would allow his teammates to pick up where he would lack the most. This one's pretty complicated, but there's a clear winner. Both may have been enhanced with Genova cells, but Genesis just has a bit more going at him, with the only category in Cloud's favor is durability. Stamina wise, I say that they'll pretty much be equal, at least with a fully powered Genesis. Strength-wise could go either way, but I'll give it to Genesis due to not only going through soldier training, but also clashing with powerhouses like Zack and Angio. While all that Cloud had was Sephiroth and the boosted Genova cells. Speed I'll very slightly give to Genesis, and the reason for that is that one should take into account that Genesis will be well into his prime while Cloud is still in development, and it won't be until having children where Cloud would reach his prime. So I'll give Genesis the very slight edge in physical capabilities. Genesis' sword is dubbed the Rapier, that has a red blade. The blade is a long sword that has a rapier style handle that measures about 5 feet and 7 inches. A unique function that the blade has is to allow the user to enhance the blade with his magic to intensify his strike. Cloud's main weapon is the bust sword that was given to him by his friend Zack Fair. The bust sword is an enormous broadsword that measures about 6 feet long. A unique function that the blade has is the ability to send out projectile slashes. However, they can be blocked by well-timed deflection. Well, this one's pretty straightforward. Both weapons are suited for their rightful owners, with Cloud's bust sword suited for a power offense, and Genesis' rapier suited for a more speed offense. When it comes to their functions, it's no competition. Genesis' ability to fuse a blade with his magic is more reliable, so that not only amplifies his attacks, while Cloud's projectile slashes will be a non-factor since they can easily be countered by Genesis' well-timed deflection or his own enhanced speed. And it doesn't help that Genesis is also familiar with the Buster Sword, which is why I give Genesis the edge in weapons. As a member of Soldier, Genesis mainly use fire spells that not only can he fire these rapidly, but also has them lock onto target's location. His limit breakers would consist of Dancing Sword as a quick barrage of sword strikes, Flash is a barrage of projectiles, Magical Swords consist of a circle of energy swords that stab into the opponent, but his strongest limit breaker is Apocalypse Blast that deals out massive amounts of damage to all opponents within his range. However, this does take time to charge up. Something that's worth noting is that Genesis can put magic barriers that can nullify magic. However, they will be ineffective against more powerful magic. And due to his genetic makeup, Genesis has the ability to create a single black angel wing for better flight and mobility. Much like all members of the Soldier, Cloud was trained to use materia ranging from fire, ice, and lightning. However, he did have access to a collection of limit breakers. His weakest is a Braver, which is a single 4 power strike. Cross Slash is a series of 4 powerful strikes. Blade Beam unleashes a powerful projectile slash. Climazard consists of 2 acrobatic sword strikes. Meteor Rain calls down a barrage of meteors to deal an immense amount of damage to all opponents. finishing touch creates a vortex to suck up all opponents in the area before tossing them down. And finally, Omi Slash consists of 15 sword strikes that deals out fatal damage. I really don't think I need to do much explaining here. Cloud has his quantity, while Genesis has his quality. Between the two, Genesis' only strongest one is his Apocalypse Blast, but his fireballs aren't really weak, seeing how a single one is able to blast apart a lab wall. Cloud, on the other hand, has firepower that will leave Genesis in bad shape should he land a hit, and one that would one-shot him if he times it right. So, Cloud takes the edge in magic and special abilities. Just like with all my other verse matches involving sword wielders, I'll be using Star Wars Lightsaber fighting forms in order to better analyze and illustrate a combatant's approach to combat. As an elite member soldier, and due to Genesis' envy of Sephiroth, he'll be well-rounded in Form 4 Ataru and Form 5 Genso. Ataru is designed to apply an acrobatic aggression, however the form isn't well honed in close quarters combat. Genso is built for dodging or blocking before immediately counterattacking, but despite its effectiveness, Genesis' main and only tactic is to go all out from start to finish, but doesn't have any fallback option and simply adds more power to his attacks until his opponent is defeated. Due to Cloud not going through any soldier training and would instead copy what he saw Zack perform, which would be Form 1 Sheisho, Form 4 Taru, Form 5 Shin/Genso, and Form 6 Nemon. Sheisho was well known for its wide sweeping strikes to take down groups of opponents, however it can be countered by a well-trained opponent. Shin has two variations, both Shin and Genso. The Shin variation consists of deflecting projectiles at the opponent, while Genso variation is developed for blocking or dodging before immediately counterattacking. Form 6 was designed to use a user's blade and force abilities, in this case, Cloud's blade and magic. Ataru was well known for its acrobatics and aggression, however it's not well effective when engaging in close quarters combat. As tactician, Cloud relies on a straightforward power offense, or to make the fight quick, blast the opponents away with a spell. I'll keep this section brief. Genesis has Cloud beat in both experience and effectiveness. Cloud may have copied Zack's fighting style, but that doesn't make him as effective as Zack, because not only did Genesis have Angel, who not only trained Zack, but was a power duelist himself, but he also had the prodigy himself, Sephiroth, and their fight was just one of many sparring matches that the three had. While old Cloud has disposed of was a brief fight with a badly beaten Sephiroth in both Crisis Core and by the end of Final Fantasy VII, along with what he has seen Zack perform, but not knowing the weaknesses that the forms came with, and are for these reasons why Genesis takes the edge in combat skills and tactics. Let's just say that this takes place shortly after Sephiroth's defeat, but as Cloud wanders the streets of Midgard, he is approached by a woman who introduces herself as Sources Adea, who proposes a deal to Cloud to allow him to travel back into the past so he can save his best friend Zack Fair. But first he will have to defeat an elite warrior. Accepting the deal, Cloud is sent back to Genesis' hometown and after searching around, manages to track him down to an open field. Genesis faces Cloud but is taken aback seeing that spiky blonde-haired boy instead of Zack, but can't help but mock him. Oh, did the puppy trip and hurt himself? Please, we both know that despite you wearing that uniform, you're no soldier. Cloud takes a combative stance as he states, we'll see who's a true member soldier after I change history. Genesis casts a few fireballs only for Cloud to deflect them, and counters with a few fast sweeping strikes, but in turn Genesis parries with his own acrobatic offense. The two continue standard swordplay, however Genesis is starting to see a familiar pattern in Cloud's offense. Zack's soldier gives some distance before casting his Meteor Rain Windbreaker. Genesis scoffs as he reveals his Black Angel Wing, and seeing that the ball's in his court, Genesis swoops down and activates his Dancing Sword Windbreaker. Cloud manages to deflect the Angel's assault, but puts off a stalemate by Blade Long Kick Genesis. Seeing an opening, Cloud stuns Genesis with a lightning spell before following up his assault with a powerful combo that sends the Blackwing Angel sliding back. In turn, he starts off by testing each of his Windbreakers to find out that Cloud can take damage from Flash, Magical Swords, and Dancing Sword, but the only one not being used is the Apocalypse Blast. Genesis glides his hand across his blade to fuse his magic with the blade itself, while Cloud takes opening to deliver a powerful projectile slash, but doesn't expect the Angel to effortlessly deflect it. The two go back to standard swordplay with each of them getting hits on the other, casting spells from time to time. By now, the damage that Genesis had taken is starting to catch up to him. Cloud breaks away and activates his Cross Slash Windbreaker, but Genesis allows him to get the first hit in out pity. Just as Cloud goes for a second attack, he casts a fireball that knocks him down. The Angel doesn't relent and continues a volley of fireballs, while all Cloud can do is just jump and maneuver around the projectiles, but stops when Genesis clutches his hand. The false soldier freezes when he realizes that Genesis got him right where he wants him, as he is nailed by an onslaught of dozens of fireballs from all directions. The Blackwing Angel casts a final fire spell that erupts in a huge explosion. Cloud forces himself up, who is severely burned and barely able to enter combative stance. Cloud stumbles forward, throwing every bit of strength he can, but is met by Genesis activating Dancing Sword, sending Cloud to his knees before delivering a final slash that decapitates the false soldier. Afterwards, time continues as it did before, but after Sephiroth's defeat, Cloud decides to take a hint from his opponent to take a fighting style of his own. And with that, I declare Genesis, the Blackwing Angel, the winner. Well, I would say I'm surprised, but let's not even be around the bush here. The fight went about as I expected, but what I wasn't expecting was Cloud to be able to compete with Genesis physically or in terms of magic. Furthermore, we all know that Advent Children Cloud would tear Genesis a new one in minutes. And due to Cloud not going through any kind of soldier training, makes him ill prepared to take down Genesis. And as Brian 3Topics Gamer mentioned, members of Soldier are meant to be a one-man army, and Cloud is anything but that. By the liar's end, Genesis would be successful in cornering Cloud, leaving his Windbreakers and elemental spells that can be either dodged or overpowered with his own spells, and his projectile slashes being completely ineffective, leaving only his swordsmanship and what he saw Zack perform. But what do you think? Is Genesis training against and sparring against Angel and Sephiroth a bit too much for Cloud? Or do you think that there's some possible ways that the false ex-soldier could pull off the upset? Let me know in the comments below, and if I got anything wrong, be sure to let me know. With that said, I'm with you guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter if you care about that, and I'll see you next time.
Once it's finally free of the mortals who defile it, like the barbarous vermin they are.
He's here. Ha! There's something I'd like you to see. This is Super Saiyan Blue.
Like somehow he knew it was coming. But while you've trained to an incredible degree, you remain nothing more than a mortal.
Oh well. That means nothing when faced with Super Saiyan Blue!
Now I know how Vegeta must have felt when we were back on planet Potifu.
So these are the attacks Goku was up against. Now I've faced them too. And I must say, they are intense. Tell me, Assassin, do you really think you can stop me? Like I said, that's my job. It surprises me.
Without apology, we regain control. Ain't no stopping the prophecy, the D and on